Before we start this video, let me say I have kind of a cold, so if my voice sounds a little strange, that's why. Do you ever see something really weird for the first time, and you look at it and you say, huh, that's kinda weird, and then you forget about it instantly and go on with the rest of your day? And then you see it a second time, and you say, oh hey, it's that weird thing I saw that one time. And then you forget about it and go on with the rest of your day. And then you see it a third time, and you say, God, is this a message? Crypt of the Serpent King is a weird-ass little game I've seen off and on over the past few years a good amount of times. The first time I saw it, I just assumed it was some shitty little indie game and immediately discarded it from my memory. But the more I kept seeing it over and over, the more intrigued I became. I mean, look at that thumbnail. You can't deny that's got some charm to it. You got a skeleton, a lizard man, a dimly lit background. What's there not to like? I mean, this has to be a pretty niche game. What the fuck? There's a whole community surrounding this game. What the fuck is this game? There are people sharing scores and bragging about how far they've gotten. How? How is there this much of a community around a game that looks like this? Alright, fine, I'll download it. I'll bite the bullet and finally play this game that's been looming over me since I bought this fucking Xbox. Alright, I've got it downloaded. Let's see how this game plays. So you boot up the game and you're met with a really ominous doorway? What the fuck is this game? New game, I guess. What is this fucking game? I know I've said it 100 times already, but I cannot for the life of me understand why this has a following. Everything is just so dark and creepy, I don't think it could get any worse. Fuck. Holy shit, when you walk around in a barren dark nothing, seeing movement will really just make you shit yourself. So the first enemy we come into contact with is this werewolf with a club. Or a giant rat, I don't know which one. I don't know, it may just be the basic mechanic of a die and it's over dungeon crawl game that's just inherently satisfying, but this game is kinda entertaining, even if it is in small bursts. The point of every dungeon, however, isn't to kill enemies, it's to collect these keys. In the first dungeon, they're surrounded by a minuscule lava pool and you have to use your piss baby jump to get them, but their locations differ in every dungeon. Kinda. So what happens when you get every key in each dungeon? Well, you unlock a door somewhere and you have to go to that door, where you prepare to face off in the most ultimate one-on-one you've ever experienced in your pathetic life. You thought rats were terrifying? Well, get ready to battle against a tall white guy. Your arm okay there, buddy? Well, that certainly was an interesting first little trek through a dungeon. Though it doesn't really answer my question as to why this game has been calling out to me or why it has the following that it does, so I guess I'll keep playing. So level 2 begins and we find ourselves in a sewer with radioactive shit clouds rolling out of every vent. We had rats in the first mission. I wonder what's here. Oh no, he's hot! You know, statistically there's someone out there that wants to f*** this. Let me tell you, this fucking dungeon, it sucks. It fucking sucks. You're kind of stuck in this middle ground, stat and gear-wise, where you don't do a lot of damage, so you're constantly dying. Though I'll give it some credit, this is where I actually really started to understand how to play the game, and kinda cheese it, whether it's intentional or not. So the combat in this game fucking sucks. I'm sorry, but it's really bad. Every enemy within each stage gets harder and harder, and by harder I mean they just do more damage, and they're all basically the same exact enemy with the same exact attack pattern. Every single weapon you have, except for the long-range weapons, function exactly the same. When you press the trigger, you swing left and swing right. Enemies usually take 2 presses of the trigger to kill, though if you only land one of those 2 swings per trigger press, you'll be attacking a little bit more. There's no dodging, no parrying, no blocking, so all you can do is this pathetic little attack, and that's it. You can't just run in and press the trigger a bunch of times really fast and kill them, because although they're stuck in a sort of stun lock, you have stamina, meaning that the more you attack, the slower your attacks get, so your enemies can usually squeeze in an attack or two. So here's what you do for literally the entire game, and literally never change it up. I'm not joking, this is all you fucking do. Make an enemy walk towards you, let them attack, swoop in, attack, rinse, repeat until they're dead. I have died in this fucking dungeon so many times, I almost got the last key, come on, fuck. Seriously, I died in this level so many times, I'd pick up the game and say, yeah, I gotta play this for the video, then I'd die and go do something else because of how tiring it got. Fuck it. Fuck it. I know I said I wanted to make a video on this game, but I can't fucking do this anymore. And then I kept playing. Finally, I got all the keys, and finally, I met this stupid fucking boss, and he's this thing. Fuck. I went back to these sewers like 4 more times and finally killed this bastard. With all the golden EXP I got, I can upgrade my stats, get a new weapon that functions identically to every weapon before it, and bam, we're on the next level. So now we're in yet another dungeon, and instead of looking any different from the last 2 dungeons, it's just more brick. Oh, but instead of lava, we got spike pits and ogres that are really, really easy to kill. Also, beginning in this level is this really weird trend of having, like, really uncomfortably scary music. I really wish there was more I could say, but it's still the same shit as before. Get keys, go to boss, and kill the titty beast. At this point in the game, I was on a f***ing roll, okay? I was slaying creatures left and right by doing the exact same thing over and over again, listening to creepy music, getting keys, slaying bosses. I truly felt like a dungeon explorer. Just kidding, I was bored and creeped out by the lighting and music. This may be a really, really weird conclusion to draw, but when I play this game and walk through all these corridors that are barely lit and listen to this foreboding music, I'm reminded of times as a kid where I'm wandering around a building at night. Does anyone have that experience from this game? Like you're at a school or a church after hours when it's dark outside, and it's only you and a few other people in the building? I don't know, I thought that was an interesting thought. There's not going to be a huge difference on everyone's playthrough. Within every level, you collect enough EXP and gold to upgrade your stats and get the best weapons suited for every level, so you're pretty much guaranteed to be balanced in every dungeon crawl, unless you're purposely not killing or collecting gold because, I don't know, you hate yourself. It was around level 5 where I thought the game was going to end. I was in a weird, creepy temple, I'm being attacked by soldiers, and I had the last weapon unlocked. There are ranged weapons that you can also unlock, but I assumed they were extra. They're not. You fight this beefy fucker, and at the end, wow, he actually has 2 different attack animations? Maybe this game isn't so bad after all. I let out a sigh as he falls to the floor and continue on to the next dungeon, praying that this game doesn't go over 10 levels. I unlocked the crossbow, and even though you have to conserve ammo, it makes battle significantly easier. And wow, conserving ammo? Yet another actual mechanic besides hit creature with button. I mean, it's not a super difficult or interesting game mechanic, but it is a game mechanic. It was at this point I was getting kinda fatigued. Every dungeon felt exactly the same. There were some skeletons, some spiders, but finally, on that fateful loading screen, it read the words, final level, and I was excited, man. I was pumped. I couldn't tell you why, but in my head I had these thoughts that this game would suddenly just be something insane that I didn't see coming at all. Like it would suddenly be like some 5-star game where I'm hiding in a forest for survival, or maybe the game glitches out and I'm having to fight some glitch demon. No, it's just the same shit I've been doing for the entire game. Near the end of the game, the soundtrack would randomly play loud-ass horror noises out of nowhere, and I mean nowhere, and I just really don't know why. At this point, we've seen rats, goblins, knights, skeletons, spiders, the usual fantasy enemies, but for the last level, what would we be getting? Could it be a fire astronaut? Maybe even some demons? Maybe some kind of original enemy that the game devs came up with? Did those larger-than-life fantasy enemies sound really cool to you? They did? Okay. How do big snakes sound? I'm not joking. They are just big snakes. Big snakes. Big snakes. They're just fucking big snakes. This is the shit I see on a daily basis if I just lived on the other side of the world. You go get all the keys that are slightly larger in number, and finally you're met face to face with the final boss of the Crypt of the Serpent King. Well, I really don't know what I was expecting. His attack pattern is nothing new as usual, and I completely eviscerate him without a second glance. And that's it. That's Crypt of the Serpent King. It's whatever. I wouldn't call it the worst game I've ever played because it has the most basic level of entertainment, but I wouldn't call it anything close to decent. There's no point in playing this unless it's ironic. I mean, it looks like this. I'm kinda disappointing that something that seems like it's been calling out to me for so long ended up being such a massive disappointment, but who knows? Maybe we can find something in that similar scenario that's actually good in the end.